And here's my formula of how you can be a master at anything. The first thing is, of course, learn, which is what you already are doing. Now, the interesting thing is, when you are learning, you must ensure that the quality of input is really, really high. You must be paying 100% attention. But the problem is, when people are learning these days, what do? They do multitasking. Because of what? Because of the devices that you're actually holding right now, because of the phones that we have, people do multitasking. Just imagine, when you're reading a book, when you're watching a video, you have your phone nearby. And while you're reading, while you're learning, while you're understanding, and the phone message goes off, there's a notification goes off, what do? Of course, you attend to it. When you attend to it, what happened? What you just did? You killed your momentum. You messed up with the quality of input. Now, here's the thing. Your quality of input determines the quality of retention. How well and how long can you remember information? It also affects the quality of recall. That's the reason why my suggestion is, if you are learning something, at least for the time you're learning, you should be doing not multitasking, but the exact opposite of it, which is single tasking. Do one thing at one time, especially when it comes to learning. Stay away from distractions. Pay 100% attention. And then you'll be well on your way to mastery. That's the first thing. The second thing, of course, is reflect. Now, many people are in the rush to learn new things, which is good. But the problem is, you also need to do reflect. What do I mean by that? After you learn something, pause for a while and ask yourself, hey, what's the takeaway from this thing? And how can I use this information in my life? How can I use this information in my work, in my family? When you pause, when you reflect, when you ask these questions, that's how learning solidifies. Otherwise, it's all just wasted. And after reflect, the next step is implement. And this is where the magic happens. And unfortunately, many people miss out on this thing. What they do is they go on learning new things, they get excited, and they feel good, they feel inspired, and they go on to learn something new. You just messed up. Now, the problem is, if you get into the habit of just learning without implementation, you know what you get? You get illusion of competence. You feel you've learned it. You feel you're competent, but it's not competence at all because you haven't implemented. So my suggestion is, when you are learning something, stop. Write down what are the few things I can take action on. Schedule it in the calendar and take some action, because this is what one of my mentors told me. Nishant, a lousy action is better than no action. Do you agree with that? Thank you very much. And of course, the last step is share. Raise your hand if you heard this thing before. The best way to learn something is to teach it. Thank you. You all heard that. And that is so true. When you learn something, just output it, just share it with other people. Now, if you don't know, if you don't want to teach, you could just share it, you could just discuss it. But what happens is, when you share things with other people, what you're doing is you're helping your brain to pay more attention. And then you will be on your path to mastery. So I have not seen anyone who became a master at something just by doing the input. They all became masters by doing the input and more of the output.